It's time again for the Science Bowl.
Zoo Parade for 5. What big teeth the hippo has are actually a pair of these. Science Potpourri for 10. Would a snake most likely eat every day? Every week, Dateline Science for 10. Why are some elephants wearing necklaces these days? Green things for 15.
And now, here's your host, Mr. Z himself, Dave Zarin.
Thank you and welcome to this middle school edition of Science Bowl. Play along with us today and test your science IQ. Let's meet today's teams. First from Drew Freeman Middle School, would you please say hello to Ina Haya, Savannah Nelson, and Dwayne Smith. And from Greenbelt Middle School, would you please welcome to the program Kia Paxton, Elam's Uku, and Jessica Woby. And now here are the categories of questions we use on Science Bowl.
Okay, Mr. Z, here's today's categories. Green things, questions about plants and all things green and growing. Zoo Parade, a Noah's Ark of questions about animals. Body systems, we'll see how much you know about yourself, about things like breathing and growing and digesting your food. Let's get physical. Questions that test your knowledge of physics and chemistry, earth science and space science. Then there's Science Potpourri. Here's a grab bag of science questions, everything from air pollution to the kitchen sink. And finally, Dateline Science. We'll ask you about science history and science in the news.
Here on Science Bowl, we arrange our game board according to question difficulty, with the easier questions on the left worth 5 and 10 points, and the tougher ones worth 15, 20, and ultimately 25, the toughest of them all. Both of our teams start out at 50 points apiece. No penalties ever for incorrect answers. At the end of the 2 rounds, one of these 2 good-looking teams will come back to play our game again and perhaps advance to the middle school semifinals. Let's make sure everything's working properly. Let's go to Drew Freeman. And Savannah, would you try your buzzer for me? Thank you. Seems to be in good shape. Good luck to you, to Ina and to Dwayne. And to Greenbelt Elams, would you try yours? Thank you, young man. Good luck to you, to Kia and to Jessica. I know some of you have played our game before. It's nice to have you back again. And for the first timers, nice to have you on board. Hope you enjoy yourselves. We go alphabetically. D in Drew Freeman before G in Greenbelt. So Savannah, let's start the game. Give me a category and a number, please.
Green things for 5.
Green things for 5 points. Teams, most kids love to build houses in these green things. Greenbelt.
Trees.
Trees, tree houses. Is there a kid alive that doesn't like a tree house? I don't know. All right, Greenbelt, your choice. Elams.
Body systems for 10.
Body systems for 10 points. Teams, there's a new television show called 3 Rivers that is all about a hospital that exclusively deals in giving organs from one patient to another. What kind of operations do we call those, Greenbelt?
Transplant.
Transplant. It is a transplant hospital. Absolutely right. All right, you're off to a fast start. Elams.
Body systems for 5.
Body systems for 5 points. Teams, if somebody snubs you, shuns you, what body part associated with the deltoid muscle is invoked in the phrase, they gave me the cold what?
Shoulder.
Shoulder, that's right, Savannah. Just wait till we recognize you. I love your enthusiasm. All right, cold shoulder it is. Drew Freeman, you're on the board. Savannah, you choose.
Let's get physical for 5.
Let's get physical for 5 points. Teams, because of the way the Earth is tilted on its axis, if you are in Alaska at the height of summer, you are in the place that they call the land of the midnight what? Yes, Drew Freeman.
Wind?
Not wind. Because of the tilt of the Earth on its axis, if you are in Alaska in the summertime, you are in the land of the midnight what? The land of the midnight sun. The sun never sets in the North Pole in Alaska for 24 hours a day. Of course, the reverse happens in winter. It never rises. It's dark all day long. Read again, Savannah.
Dateline Science for 5.
Dateline for 5 points. Teams, there is a television commercial that says this gas that we all exhale is not a pollutant, but rather is green. Drew Freeman.
Carbon dioxide?
Carbon dioxide it is, yes. So don't malign carbon dioxide. It's a good thing, even though we know it's implicated perhaps in global warming. All right, 60 for Drew Freeman, 65 for Greenbelt. Savannah, advantage yours.
Green things for 10.
Green things for 10 points. Teams, look at the monitor in the studio, please, for this question, if you would. You're going to see a Van Gogh painting of Irish peasants that are sitting around eating what tuberous vegetable that developed a blight and led to a famine throughout Ireland and let a lot of people then migrate to America. Greenbelt.
Potato.
Potatoes, the great potato famine in Ireland. Absolutely right. Thank you, Jessica, for your assist on that. Greenbelt, go.
Science potpourri for 15.
Potpourri for 15 points. Teams, we human beings are always wondering, what are we going to do for dinner tonight? You know, since we eat plants and meat, we are what kind of creatures? Drew Freeman?
Omnivores.
Omnivores, that's right, the omnivore's dilemma. What to have for dinner tonight? All right, lions have no such problems. Go again, Drew Freeman. 75 all, tie score.
Zoo parade for 10.
Zoo parade for 10 points. Teams, they put a critter cam on top of an albatross, which is a big flying bird in the ocean, and they noticed that that albatross followed killer whales in the ocean, and when the killer whale would kill something, the albatross would come in and pick up the scraps, meaning it played what role in the food chain? Drew Freeman.
Scavenger.
Yes, indeed. It's picking up the pieces. It's scavenging the leftovers. That's it. Red.
Zoo parade for 15.
Zoo parade for 15 points. Teams, there is a new version of the book, Winnie the Pooh, and there's a new character. Her name is Lottie. She is what kind of frisky, friendly, swimming mammal with very thick fur? Yes, Greenbelt. Yes, sir.
Platypus.
Not a platypus. Good try. Very good try. Drew Freeman, it's a frisky, what did you say?
Otter.
It is an otter. I didn't have to tell you anymore. They break clamshells on their chest with rocks. It was my other clue. All right, you're up to 100 points, 75 for Greenbelt. Savannah, please.
Zoo parade for 5.
Zoo parade for 5 points. Teams, if you suddenly give something up, like smoking, what Thanksgiving bird is invoked in the phrase, he went, Elam's?
Turkey.
Turkey. He went cold turkey. Absolutely right. All right. Good answer. Green.
Let's get physical for 10.
Let's get physical for 10 points. Your question is as follows. If you go to King's Dominion and ride the roller coaster, you learn all about forces, forces that keep you inside the car and forces that keep the car on the track. You are discovering a lot about what branch of science by riding that roller coaster. What branch of science, Drew Freeman?
Physics.
You got that right. All of the energy and the forces. It is a physics lesson. You got it. Nicely played. We've come to the end of the first round. It's a close score. Drew Freeman 110, Greenbelt 80. We'll be back with more Science Bowl in just a moment. Don't go away. And welcome back to Science Bowl. Hope you're enjoying this game at home as much as we are here in the studio, and I thank you for spending part of your day with us. Before we ask any more science questions, a few introductions. Let's find out about the 6 scholars playing our game today. Let's go first to Drew Freeman and find out about Ina and Savannah and Dwayne. Boy, you're playing a nice game over there. Savannah, tell us about Drew Freeman. It's just off Suitland Road, is it not?
Yes.
Yes. And who's your principal?
Our principal is Charles Wilson.
I know he's out there.
Wilson.
He's out there rooting for you. And the sponsor of your team?
Miss O.
Miss O.
Body.
That's right. And she has served. Miss Obagili also was a judge here on our previous program, so we know she's very dedicated to Science Bowl. Were there any alternates on your team?
Yes.
Who were they?
Dustin and Abraham.
And we'll bring them out a little bit later along with the sponsors so you can all meet them because they're an integral part of this team. And Savannah, what is really great about Drew Freeman? Why do kids like going there?
Kids like going there because of the academic programs.
Yeah, so it's very rigorous and you know you're getting what you need to move on in life, no matter what it is you plan to do. What do you hope to do in the future?
I hope to be a doctor or a lawyer.
Yeah, and you sing as well, don't you?
Yes.
You sing in your church choir, and I know that that's a nice outlet for you. You're playing a good game. Dwayne, nice to have you here, looking really sharp over there in that red bow tie. Tell us about yourself. What do you want to do someday?
I want to be a musician.
Yeah, and you play the flute. How long have you played?
For about 3 years, 4 years.
3 years. Well, that's a long time, and I know you must practice a lot, you know, to really be good at it. What do you do in your spare time if you're not practicing your flute?
Reading.
Reading, yeah. What do you like to read?
Suspense, drama, a lot.
Very good. All right, boy. To getting lost in a good book, nothing beats it. I know you like to read fiction a lot, don't you? What have you read recently that you really liked?
It's a book called The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak.
Ah, and why'd you like it?
It's just really touching.
Yeah, something that just gets to you. Yeah, I think that's great. What do you want to do? I know you want to write someday, but you also want to be what?
A college professor.
College professor. What would you teach?
Probably English.
English, very good. All right, you play a nice game as well. Nice to have you with us. Greenbelt, nice to have you here. A couple familiar faces. Our captain was here last year, Elims, and Jessica, you told me you were on camera for about 5 seconds as an alternate for Paint Branch. So it's nice to have you back in Kia. This is your first time ever. Nice to have you with us. Elims, tell us about Greenbelt. Of course, it's in Greenbelt, and who's your principal?
Miss Judy Austin.
Yeah, and I know she's out there and is a big fan of Science Bowl. And Miss Glenn, who organized your team, and we'll meet her in a few minutes, will be out, a great sponsor. And any alternates on your team?
We have one alternate, Devontae.
Yes, Devontae Bennett, and we'll meet him in just a few moments as well. Let me ask you what I asked Savannah. What do you like best about Greenbelt?
I mean, it's a good environment. It's lots of good kids. It's fun.
It's fun,
Yeah.
boy. Hey, if you can say it's fun, then you've said it all. And I know your school is destined to be redone in a couple of years. So the old Greenbelt, some of it's going to be retained, a historic part there. I know you have your eye on maybe the NFL someday, correct? Yeah, and you play football right now for the Laurel Wildcats. He's
Yes.
a fullback. And what do you do in your spare time if you're not playing football? Everything.
But most of the time, I'm just probably on the computer.
On the computer, all right. Well, that's where a lot of people spend their time nowadays. Jessica, nice to have you here with us. And you're getting far more than 5 seconds today, and we're happy about that. And you had a nice assist there in that first round. You keep up your good play. What do you see yourself doing someday?
Something in computers or medicine.
Or medicine. And I know you like to read as well in your spare time. What else do you do?
Go on the computer and listen to music.
And listen to music. What kind of music you like?
All kinds, like hip hop, rock, pop, everything.
So you have kind of a wide taste there. Kia, nice to have you here. I know you like to talk on the phone. You got your cell phone. Everyone seems to just have it all the time now. And what are your career goals?
I want to major in education.
In education, because she told us earlier she wanted to be a teacher, and we certainly applaud that, as we applaud all of your goals. And you're a cheerleader, and you would like to get a scholarship for cheerleading to go to college. I think that's wonderful. You know, you see cheerleaders today, and their athleticism matches what the guys do on the field. I mean, the way you throw each other around, it's a really gymnastic kind of sport. So I wish you well, and nice to have you with us. Let's get back to our game. 110 for Drew Freeman, 80 for Greenbelt. Last correct answer came from Savannah. All the big questions are left. It's still anybody's game. Go Savannah.
Green things for 25.
Green things for 25, the big one in that category, teams. It's a two-part answer, so listen carefully. I'll need both parts. If you have a cactus in your house, it can develop something called corky scab. It's a disease. If inside your house certain environmental factors are too high or too low, what would be too low and what would be too high inside your house environmentally that could cause that cactus to develop a disease? What would be too low and what would be too high for 25 points? Greenbelt.
Too low would be freezing, and too high would be boiling point temperature.
Nope. All right, you've got a cactus in your house. It has a corky scab disease. It developed that because environmental conditions within your house are not ideal. What would be too low and what would be too high to cause that cactus to be diseased?
Too low of water and too high of temperature.
No, remember cactuses like hot temperatures. So the light would be too low, not enough light, and too high would be the humidity. It would be too moist because deserts are very dry. That was a very tough question. You made a valiant attempt. Go Red.
Science potpourri for 5.
Potpourri for 5 points. Teams, the mammal that sleeps the longest, 20 hours a day, is this one that rouses itself. Greenbelt?
Sloth.
A sloth, did you say? Not a sloth, no. Drew Freeman, the mammal that sleeps longer than any other, it sleeps 20 hours a day, is this creature that rouses itself for 4 hours to go out and catch a few bugs or drink a little blood.
Bat.
Bats, that's right. Bats sleep more than any other mammal. Go, Savannah.
Green things for 20.
Green things for 20 points. Teams, your question is as follows. 65 million years ago, when an asteroid hit the Earth, it also affected the algae in the ocean because it obscured so much light that the algae could not conduct what food-making process? Drew Freeman.
Photosynthesis.
Photosynthesis. They could not photosynthesize. Not enough light was getting through all that debris that lingered in the atmosphere. Red.
Green things for 15.
Green things, 15 points. Teams, multiple choice question. If you see a green plant that looks sickly, it's white and yellow instead of deep green, does it suffer from chlorosis, Crohn's disease, or does it suffer from jaundice? Greenbelt.
Chlorosis.
Chlorosis, absolutely right. Chloro was your key there, as in chlorophyll. Jaundice and Crohn's disease are human conditions, by the way. All right, nice comeback. Greenbelt. Let's turn the light to green. Give the points to Greenbelt. In Greenbelt, you choose.
Let's get physical for 15.
Let's get physical for 15 points. Teams, the first plane that flew without propellers was designed in 1937 by a German who prayed that this new engine he invented wouldn't have the turbines fly off the first time he flew it. What kind of engine did he invent? Drew Freeman.
Propeller.
Not propeller. No, we said the first non-propeller plane was invented in 1937 by a German who, when he flew this new plane with this new what kind of engine, he prayed that the turbines would not fall off. Yes, sir.
A turbine engine.
A jet engine, a jet. Try again, please, Green.
Body systems for 20.
Body systems for 20 points. Teams, what is the name of the organ that is attached to your large intestine that we really don't know what it does, and it shares its name with the part of the book at the end where they add things on, Greenbelt?
Appendix.
Appendix, that's right. The appendix in the book, and the appendix that we think might have some role in digestion, but no one is quite sure. All right, closing the gap, 135, 115. Thank you again, Jessica. Go Elams.
Body systems for 15.
Body systems, 15 points. Teams, your question is as follows. Football players, as a result of what they do on the field, oftentimes suffer what C-initialed injuries based on collisions? C-initialed. Greenbelt.
Concussion.
Concussion, absolutely right. All right, good answer. Greenbelt. 5 points behind.
Science potpourri for 10.
Potpourri for 5 points. Teams, who knew that ants were such good gardeners? They don't grow flowers or vegetables, but they chew up leaves so that what grows on the leaves that they eat, it is a kind of creature that is related to mushrooms, molds, and mildews. Greenbelt.
Fungus.
Fungus. They have a fungus garden. Yes, indeed. Good. Go.
Let's get physical for 20.
Let's get physical for 20 points. Team, scientists recently discovered 40 more, bringing to almost 400 the number of these celestial bodies that orbit suns other than our own. Greenbelt.
Exoplanet.
Exoplanets. Boy, you gave me the technical term, too. Planets would have sufficed. Exoplanets beyond our solar system. Nicely done. Green. Come on, Freeman, let's jump back in here. Elams, you pick them.
Science potpourri for 20.
Science potpourri for 20 points. Teams, long before there was hand sanitizer, people in the Middle Ages used cinnamon oil because they knew it will kill germs on their hands. Because it killed germs, it's known as an anti-what? An anti-what, Greenbelt?
Antibiotic.
No.
Bacterial.
No.
Bacterial.
No. Drew Freeman, a hand sanitizer of the Middle Ages was cinnamon oil. It killed germs, so it was an anti-what?
Bacteria.
Bacterial or antiseptic. Yes, good. Red.
Zoo parade for 25.
Zoo parade for 25. The big one in that category, teams, Megatherium is an extinct mammal that lived in South America. Today, its successor is what slowest mammal on Earth? Drew Freeman?
Sloth.
Sloth. Now the sloth works. Yes, good. Go.
Zoo parade for 20.
Zoo parade for 20 points. Teams, there's a new book called Shiver. It is all about life among the lupines. Lupines are what kinds of canines specifically? Greenbelt.
Dogs.
Not dogs. Lupines, life among the lupines, the story of Shiver. Lupines are what specific kinds of canines?
Greyhounds.
Wolves. Wolves are lupines. Try again, please. Green. You're 20 points behind. Elams.
Dayline science for 20.
Dateline science for 20 and a tie if you get it. Teams, it was on September 14th, 1959 that the Russians launched a spacecraft called Luna. Yes, Greenbelt. Yes, sir. What do you want to tell me?
Sputnik.
Good try, good try. Freeman, The question is yours. On September 14th, 1959, the Russians launched a spacecraft called Luna 2 that eventually crash-landed onto the surface of what heavenly body?
Moon?
The moon, absolutely right. Your clue was Luna there. And since I said Russia, that kind of negated Sputnik, but I knew where you were thinking. All right, red.
Let's get physical for 25.
Let's get physical for 25, the big one in that category. Teams, look at the monitor in the studio, please, for this question. Let's get physical for 25 points. Teams, this is the first ever picture of what kind of chemical model that is assembled by adding atoms to it. Drew Freeman, what is that for 25 points?
Molecules.
It is indeed a molecule. Absolutely right. Nicely done. Thank you, Ina, for your assist. Red, again.
Dateline science for 25.
Dateline for 25 points. 2 minutes left in our game. Teams, Galileo's observations of the solar system and the sun and his deductions were based mostly on watching the phases that what planet went through. Greenbelt.
Venus.
Yes, Venus is absolutely right. Good. Green.
Dateline science for 15.
Dateline for 15 points. Multiple choice question. 30 years ago in this country, which of the following volcanoes erupted? Mount Hood, Mount McKinley, Mount St. Helens. Drew Freeman.
St. Helens.
Mount St. Helens, absolutely right, in Washington State. A catastrophic explosion. Thank you again, Ina. Go Savannah.
Science potpourri for 25.
Potpourri for 25 points. Teams, three-part answer. Listen carefully. Back in the Middle Ages, the Pope blamed the Black Death not on something biological, but a misalignment of planets 4, 5, and 6 in the heavens. Which are planets 4, 5, and 6 in that order? Greenbelt.
Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn.
You got them. Absolutely right. Good. Go. Green.
Body systems for 25.
Body systems for 25, the big one in that category. Teams, on the television show The Biggest Loser, they try to get the people to control how fast they burn up the food that they eat. What M initial term describes how fast or how slowly you burn up your food? Greenbelt.
Metabolism.
Metabolism is absolutely right for 25 points. We have one question left in our game, the 10-point question for Dateline. This is it, teams. It turned out it would have been impossible for this little boy to fly aboard that balloon in Colorado that was filled with what gas? Drew Freeman.
Helium.
Helium, absolutely right. And with that, we have cleared the board. Our game is over. We'll tally up the score and announce our winner in just a moment. We'll be right back. And welcome back to Science Bowl. Rarely have we seen a game like this. It came down almost to the last question. What wonderful playing. There was just one question that nobody could get. That's a tribute to the scholarship and the skill of these 6 outstanding young people. We're proud of them all. Our final tally today is Greenbelt 235, Drew Freeman 250. So congratulations to Ina and Savannah and Dwayne. We're going to see you in the next round. Eva Angeli, I know you're very happy about this crowd here. Abraham and Dustin, I know you're proud alternates. Thank you for being here today. Let's see some smiles over here. You guys, I hate to see you go. Kia and Elans and Jessica, what a game you played. And Jonte, thank you for being an alternate. I know you're proud of these guys. And Miss Glenn, I know you are proud of them. And I want to see you back again. You've been wonderful. And you too. Thank you for being with us today. We'll see you next time on Science Bowl. Bye now.